Welcome back, folks, to House Party's 5v5 Minor League Week 5. Our two teams we have here today are NCSU Prime on the blue side versus Blue Esports on the red side. NCSU Prime just coming back off our last streamed game with a victory. I am your play-by-play caster for today's game, Corrupt Hope, and alongside with me is our color caster, the Shigwa. Shigwa, what do you think about these two teams?
Now, right now, NCSU Prime is coming off a very nice win. That means they're going to be very confident. They might be overconfident coming into this game. We're going to see if they could take it. Blue Esports could take advantage of the mid lane and the bot lane. If they're able to do that, that might tilt them enough that just the entire game goes to hell. We saw from last game how when NCSU got so far ahead on those two roles, they were able to just start snowballing that game and completely shut out any form of comeback. So if that happens again this time, we're going to see a very strong game coming in from Blue.
Yeah, we do see the bans coming out. Looks like Blue Esports saw the Azir last game from Shadow Visions and do not want to play against it again, banning it out. Second ban. I think that was a pretty good choice. But
yes, along with the Rek'Sai too.
Yeah, really denying the comp that was picked. But I mean, Rek'Sai is a very top tier jungler, along with Elise and Kindred, so a lot of junglers being banned right now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what each of these junglers, tier 2 and tier 3, are going to be. Right now we have the Nidalee coming out, so 3 jungle bans from NCSU Prime. Blue Esports, if they ban another jungler, we're going to have to see bottom of the barrel. We're going to see probably Gragas, maybe some Zac. I've even seen a lot of Fiddlesticks in my solo queue games, and again, I'm only plat, so take that with a grain of salt. But if these junglers are able to show that they have some sort of mastery on a tier 2 and tier 3, then it's going to be a completely different game than what we saw earlier.
Yes, quite so. The Vladimir ban is coming out a very strong top laner, and sometimes mid laner. We have seen previous House Party 5v5 games, but it looks like NCSU Prime will be thinking about what they want to pick first. Looks like we do have things like Braum open. Junglers like Gragas are open. They're not very verse pick worthy though, but speak of the devil, there is the Gragas hover.
Well, with the amount of bans that they have focused onto junglers, they're going to want to get that jungler that is their top of the list right now. It'll be interesting to see, now that Blue Esports doesn't have to respond with a jungler, what they're going to pick up. If I were them, I'd probably go jungle and maybe support pickup right now, just so that they don't show too much. They're able to get a counter pick in either top, mid, or ADC. Lucian is incredibly strong despite the nerfs that came out. We're also seeing Caitlyn and Ezreal being top of that list, with maybe a Misfortune rounding out the top 4. Depending on what they decide is their own personal preference, their playstyle, they're going to want to graph that as early as possible to ensure that the other team doesn't counter that entire pick.
I don't know if I'd agree with the Misfortune being top 4. I think definitely Ezreal, Caitlyn, Lucian, and Twitch. Twitch can just abuse his ultimate and Hurricane. But we do see the Ezreal and the Victor. Victor, a very popular mid laner right now, because the one thing he's good at is killing people. He's very good at that, especially with the change, with his ultimate being changed from ticking to every 1 to 2 seconds now and doing a ton of damage. It's a very unsuspecting burst if you stay in the storm.
Yes, and we've been seeing a lot recently is that people usually take Swain into the Victor or an even longer range champion, because Victor has range issues. His laser is the only thing that can really clear a wave past what normal champions' ranges are. A lot of ADCs can actually hit him outside of that range as well, looking at Caitlyn, Tristana, Twitch. Those champions can abuse the fact that Victor is so low range, so low mobility, and try to get that advantage incredibly early. Looks as though that Sivir ban from last game was actually something that they have been seeing a lot in either scrims or the solo queue coming out from FlameGen, and they picked it up.
Yeah, so once again, they really do like that gotta move fast comp that was shown by Gamehouse Academy the previous game. So there's the Sivir, there's the Karma. Like I said, an account at the Maokai is still open in the top lane. He did get a slight nerf, but being that CC huge tree ball he is, he's still a very strong pick. in the top lane.
I'm not sure how much I would be putting onto that top lane, especially with the Maokai, against the NCSU Prime. They have shown that they're willing to play Poppy. They have shown that they're willing to play Echo. So either one of those goes just flat noodle fight like we saw last game in that top lane. It looks like they're going to swap that out, and I don't know if Impala actually got that pick out. Oh, here comes the Braum, so we're going to see. It's a very familiar comp. We saw this bot lane last game. It'll be interesting to see how they decide to implement it into the team. They have the Olaf for the I'm going to run at you, I'm going to pop Ragnarok, you're not going to be able to stop me no matter what you want. But if Shadow Visions comes out with that Azir, we're going to see the wall. We're going to see Ragnarok can't go through the Azir wall. And
well, actually Azir is banned, so that won't be a scenario that will be happening.
Yes, okay, I completely missed that somehow. You know, maybe an Anivia coming out, depending on how well that was played. That was banned last game. We're going to see if the Talia comes out. A lot of different mid plays, but with the double Sivir Karma bot lane, they're going to be incredibly fast.
Yeah, quite so. But with all that speed, I'm wondering if Olaf will be able to catch them if Karma just, mantra shields. We'll be able to run away. We will see that Talia lock-in along with that Trundle, so we're going to have to see how good Shadow Visions is at that Talia. A very skill-intensive mid lane pick. So all that leaves is the jungler left for the side of Blue Esports, or maybe the top lane if they put Olaf jungle, but I think that's a little unlikely.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited for this Talia pick. I don't know what Shadow Visions is going to do. I've seen a couple pictures from his other games where he's gone 22-4 in these games, and I am extremely excited. Unfortunately, it looks as though he's going to be up against a Victor, and I'm not sure how powerful Talia is against that Victor. I don't really have a lot of familiarity, like I mentioned earlier, with the Talia, so I don't know which side that goes with. But if Shadow Visions is not going to be able to get that early lead, it'll be interesting to see what he actually does with that. And it looks like they're going to end up picking up that Maokai. They're going to be a heavy engage comp. They have a lot more frontline with damage with the Olaf than they had last game. And I'm not quite sure how well this comp forms together on the side of NCSU Prime.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting. Talia is a zone control mage, so that's something she excels at, but looks like their entire team wants to run fast, engage, disengage. So maybe they're going for somewhat of a kite, engage, disengage comp. The side of Blue Esports, it's kind of just engage and we kill you comp. Victor, Olaf. We do see the Olaf jungle, so his ganks aren't very powerful, but he has a ton of damage. So I'm going to be really interested to see how Rogue One will be able to pull off these Olaf ganks.
And it'll be interesting to see whether or not NCSU Prime is able to take advantage of Rogue One's lack of flash with the Ghost. That's going to be an incredibly fast Olaf once he pops Ragnarok and just runs at you, popping any sort of Braum Q. If Braum is able to land an auto attack, a Q, anything onto anyone, with the Olaf there, that person will get stunned. And then you could just see the layering CC that they have via Maokai, via the Victor, and the Braum knockup as well. They won't be able to get very far away. So NCSU picking up these heavy disengaged champions is actually very beneficial for them here, where I see Gragas actually going full tank as opposed to last game where he built the blue smite item, and just disengaging along with the Trundle to hopefully buy some time for the Talia, the Karma, and the Sivir to destroy the Ezreal and the Victor.
Yeah, quite true. I'm also interested in these matchups. It looks like, I think for the Talia versus Victor matchup, Victor does have the advantage. He has a lot better harass if he knows how to position well. So if Victor's good on positioning, he should be in the advantage in mid lane, although Talia does have that barrier summoner spell. So once again, one team having the double teleport advantage versus one team not. But as we saw last game, that didn't make too much of a difference, as Shadow Visions did not run teleport and still did insanely well. So I'm interested to see how that will turn out this game.
I think that was more of a team comp and team win condition setup difference from both of these teams. Last game, we saw that NCSU Prime was running more of a we're going to destroy you in lane, so much so that it doesn't matter if we're 4v5 or 5v5, we're going to still win this fight. And this time, we're seeing Blue Esports come out with two incredible CC champions on the likes of Maokai and Victor. If both of those are able to show up and turn a 3v5 or a 2v2 into a 2v4, then that's going to completely turn around these fights and give Blue Esports a huge advantage. Now, if NCSU plays this well enough, they're able to survive this double TP, board up like they did last game, and be aware of where everyone's going to come in from, and they're going to be able to disengage those teleports to nullify that and inherently give Shadow Visions on Talia an advantage of having that barrier over that teleport as long as they make that teleport irrelevant.
Yep, that is quite true. Talia's ultimate honestly is very good. It could be considered a teleport of its own with all that roam potential. But with 20 seconds left, folks, we're going to go ahead and head back into games. We'll be on the loading screen, but stay tuned and we will see you on the Rift very shortly. Welcome back, folks, to House Party's 5v5 Week 5 Minor League. Our two teams here today are NCSU Prime on the blue side versus Blue Esports on the red side. I am your play-by-play caster for today's game, Corrupt Hope, and alongside with me is the Jigua. And looks like we're seeing a level 1 invade coming on out. What do you think about this, the Jigua?
This is something that NCSU has done in every single one of their games. If I were ever playing against them, watch any of the VODs, you see that they do the exact same thing. They all run up mid lane, they all try to get some early wards, early pressure, using the Braum, hopefully getting a stun, maybe getting a kill, burning some summoners. If I were ever playing against them, tell your team, ward against it. Be prepared. If they get countered at all, you could lose one, maybe two individuals right off the bat. They're getting turned on by this Blue Esports team. They did exactly what NCSU usually does, and they were trying to take advantage of that fact. It shows how NCSU is actually able to change their priorities, change what they do. They're going to have vision that the Gragas is going to start bot lane, starting those golems. Typical start for Gragas jungle, but it's always nice to confirm what you're already assuming. We're going to see a lot of early fighting, trying to poke one another, trying to assert lane dominance. Hopefully this top lane doesn't start off as poorly as every other lane, but it looks like we're going to get an early
dropping in the bot lane. There's the exhaust onto Impala. Hani taking heavy damage. The heal will be dropping, but Flamegen putting out some huge damage, and on the Blue Esports taking a lot of damage from in their bot lane.
I would say Blue Esports got the worst of that trade in that Ezreal took a lot of damage as opposed to the Sivir. Both of the supports are going to have their typical biscuit starts, so therefore they're going to be able to heal up, and the fact that both of them are level 1, as you get levels, it starts mattering less those early trades. Ezreal is already up, Sivir's able to use that shield, run around, take less damage, but it looks like there's an early engage as well.
Like, we're going to be backing off. Some important thing to remember is Sivir used heal and Impala did not, so that HP gap is actually a lot lower than it seems, but right now there's still a sizable amount. Argus is going to be shoving in the gank in the top lane. Rogue One, that level 2 gank does have the red buff, will force the flash from Giscard and head back into his jungle, but Pluck and Penguin is right in the river, ready to meet him. Looks like both junglers will meet up. Will the camera zoom onto them? Well, Rogue One is now in trouble. There's the Trundle pillar. Maokai did not respond to it fast enough. He has not popped the ghost yet. He will, but that is first blood too little, too late. And now Scholar is the one in trouble. He does have flash. He will flash over. But a nice first blood coming out on the side of NCSU Prime.
And that's where the Summoner's Choice spell, the Summoner's Spell choice is incredibly important. Had Rogue One had flash instead of Ghost, he would not have died there. But because of that, once they caught him in a very
looks like Scholar's going to be in trouble. There is the flash gank. A nice dive coming out from NCSU Prime. But I do agree with you that flash would have been much more useful, but he did use Ghost incredibly late.
Yeah, it's very lucky that the Gragas did not end up taking damage there. We're going to see a lot of trading early in the mid lane. They're pretty equal in farm. The Sivir and the Karma lane are pushing in like we saw last game. The Karma lane has a lot more poke, therefore she's going to want to zone, want to push the lane, want to keep them off of this farm. Let's see whether or not Rogue One is able to turn that early death into something that's slightly beneficial. It looks like Braum's going to be going in on the Karma though.
And Ezreal is so disjointed from this aggression. He was in the back farming, so this looks like a really bad engage on the side of Blue Esports, just a complete disconnect in their bot lane, but the trade is continuing, and now Braum stepping forward. They just don't know when to leave and taking a huge amount of damage.
And this is very interesting. This is showing the preparation that went into these weeks. Blue Esports came in number 2 seeded. They are favored in this matchup. However, NCSU is more of a middle of the pack team.
And now some huge trades coming out. Rogue One is in the ball lane. He will get spotted out by that ward. Throws the axe, does not connect. He's just wasting more time. But now Pala is in trouble. Rogue One has to come back to try to fix it. There is the flash of the Braum Q. What a horrible miss. And now Impala is in trouble. Shadow Visions is here in the ball lane. Will drop down that. Braum will fall. Olaf will fall, and Ezreal will fall. And that is 3 kills to 0 for NCSU Prime.
That was a beautiful gank, beautiful communication. Everyone knew exactly what they needed to do. They left the Braum to Talia while the rest focused 100% onto the other champion in the bot lane, and they picked up all 3 kills as opposed to maybe losing 1.
And the sad part about that was Victor had teleport and Talia reached there first. But I'm not sure what Locke Lamora was actually doing in the mid lane, and looks like they're going to be securing a very early Earth Dragon.
Yeah, if you're not going to be punished for roaming and not having teleport, then there is no reason to take teleport. That is why we keep seeing Shadow Visions taking barrier over the teleport. He's never been punished in the games that we have seen. And as long as that keeps happening, he's not going to. Once teams start taking advantage, then we're going to see the fact that he's going to have to change his playstyle, and we don't really know what that playstyle with teleport is. We don't know what the communication is going on behind the scenes, but so far it looks very strong, very fluid communication, that they don't need this.
Very true, and it's looking like a problem, you know, only 7 minutes into the game almost, and being down 2k gold, that's not a joke this early. But looks like Shadow Vision's putting some aggression on the mid lane. Locklemora taking some damage, but it just doesn't seem that he understands what Taliyah does and the range of her abilities. Just losing trade after trade.
Exactly. If you know that your opponent is a level 7 mastery on Taliyah, it benefits you to at least put some time into that champion to understand some of the limitations. At this level, nobody really expects you to be fluid or 100% on understanding every single mid lane champion, every single mid lane matchup, but you need to understand at least what the champion does. And it doesn't seem like Locklemora understands 100% what Taliyah does.
Very poor play by him, but rest of the game seems like everything has stabilized. No crazy plays. Gragas is in the top jungle, approaching onto Scholar. Actually, it looks like he will be heading back. He has scouted Olaf, and he wants to go for a fight.
Yes, he's calling Taliyah over, and he's going to be engaging in Olaf in the jungle. We see Taliyah moving.
Like, she messed up her wall, but flashes over, secures the kill, and Viktor just running back to mid lane. He has zero clue what's going on, as he's just 10 steps behind Taliyah at all times.
Exactly. If this were a solo queue game, that's where you just start pinging assistance on both the mid and top laner. Neither of them moved an inch to help this Olaf. Olaf is set so incredibly far behind. He isn't even able to complete his jungle item, instead vying for the Cinderhulk, little bit of burn AoE damage and the health onto that, whereas Taliyah and now Gragas are just taking complete control of this game.
Braum trying to get in the bot lane, missing that vital Q, and it looks like, ooh, and that'll be the Rift Herald secured for Trundle. That's going to be a huge problem for Maokai, as Trundle, who's already has a huge advantage to this lane, is just going to get even a bigger one.
Yeah, every single thing so far is going for NCSU Prime. They have about a 3k gold, 2k gold lead, almost 3k. In all lanes are ahead. We have Trundle being 20 CS ahead of the Maokai. We have the Gragas being 3 kills over the Olaf. Taliyah 3 kills over the Viktor. And we see this Sivir being relatively equal in terms of her lane, that I think she really should lose just based on the way that Ezreal and Braum work together.
And I'm not seeing any priority on these TP ganks from either one of these teams, especially from Blue Esports, who have the TP advantage. They don't seem to be utilizing their teleports at all. As we saw earlier, Tala just ran down bottom lane and got a free kill without being punished.
Exactly, and both of these laners are holding their teleports, and I don't know if that's just arrogance in terms of I want to win my lane, I want to make sure my stats look good, or it's just a complete lack of communication from whoever the shot caller is for Blue Esports saying you both need to teleport. Had a teleport come in from the Maokai or the Viktor, maybe one of those kills or 2 of those kills wouldn't have happened, and they could have secured something on the back end.
But we're going to see what they can do to come back from this. The gold lead is currently almost approaching 3k. Ezreal eating forward. The Braum Q missing once again. Dadu just has had zero accuracy with these Braum Qs.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate because Ezreal wants to be able to use that Q, that E, in order to get those quick stacks onto whoever the Braum tags. There's going to be a gank in the top lane, though.
Yeah, Scholar now in trouble. The Gragasol will blow him away. He could have E'd forward, but Taliyah coming in to complete the gank. Misses the W, but I don't think it'll matter once she throws out the Q. Yep, that will be the Thunderlord proccing, but now Hani is in trouble. Braum missing the ultimate, Karma flashing away, and another failed engage. Ooh,
Yeah,
the Ezreal does connect, but not getting the kill.
Olaf is in the bot lane, so we're going to see if this dive is actually able to happen. They don't have view of that.
The Ghost comes out. There is the Silverall spell shield. The Braum Q finally does connect. Rogue One is still going in. He wants this kill, but he will not be able to get it. There's the exhaust. There's the W. But now Rogue One is in trouble. His teammates have left him. And a very disjointed team play Rogue One actually might fall here to Flamejin. Flamejin stepping up too far. Impala now wanting to get the kill. No one is with him. There is the flash. She just needs one more, and he will secure it with the auto attack. Did not even need the Q. But very sloppy team play coming out on the side of Blue Esports.
And very odd decision for NCSU to not call for the teleport.
And now
They're gonna
Scholar
gank
is in
the
trouble.
top
The
lane.
E-Flash does miss, but he's trying to run around that safety cone, but being completely slowed. He will knock them away. Will it be enough, though? There is the flash from Argiscard and the secure with Pluck and Penguins. Barrel, and now Victor running up in the top lane. He wants some part of this action, but nope, just running back to mid. Will be getting shoved in. He's at a complete loss.
That shows a bit of what NCSU is targeting in terms of the lane pressure. They valued Trundle in the top lane, continuing to set Maokai behind, over Trundle maybe teleporting to the tier 1 turret in the bot lane, and maybe getting 1 or 2 of those kills. If Trundle had teleported immediately, I don't think Flamejin goes down at all, and they maybe pick up the Braum and the Olaf that were coming in and tower diving essentially the tier 2 turret.
Yeah, or even if Victor Locky Lamora teleported top when Maokai was getting dived, he might have been able to pick up a kill or burn some summoners, but just zero reaction coming out on the side of Blue Esports.
Exactly. Unfortunately, the wording, everything, is very far behind. NCSU is starting to group up bot lane. They're going to send 4 bot, maybe get a kill or 2, pick up this turret, rotate mid lane, grab the dragon already. That gives them the damage advantage, and this is an incredibly early second dragon, but the Ezreal picks up that dragon.
A nice steal coming out on the side of Impala. The Earth Dragon will be the next dragon, but a little step forward for Blue Esports. But you know, currently they're playing a completely reactive game, and on top of it being completely reactive, it's a very slow reaction to it. Locky Lamora getting hit into the mine. Shadow Vision doing some damage. Dropping down the Sunfield will not connect. That will be the end of the gauge. Hadi trying to get some harassing, but not too much happening right now.
You know, that steal was pretty much everything that Blue Esports could do at the time. That gives them some hope. But if NCSU picks up this second Mountain Dragon, that means that everything is going to spike a lot sooner. We've already seen that they're going to be playing objectives. They're going to be playing for the Baron. They're going to be playing for the towers. And if they continue that game, these Mountain Dragons are actually a lot more important than the Infernals because of how far ahead they are. It's about 4k gold. They're roughly the same in terms of that. If bot lane continues to abuse the other bot lane, then they just have no chance of getting back into this game.
Yeah, very true. Some huge items coming out on the side of NCSU Prime. Talia already has that Abyssal Scepter. Looks like some aggression might happen in the mid lane with the collapse coming in. Trundle and Olaf are meeting. There is the Talia making sure there's no escape, but also putting Gragas on the other side. Rogue One looks like he'll be able to ghost ultimate away to safety. And looks like Blue Esports are going to get out of this one.
That's a lot burnt on the side of Blue Esports to just live. You want to see the Olaf starting to use that Ragnarok in terms of just combined with the Maokai. You want to see him combined with the Victor. They're going to be engaging in the bot lane, however.
Oh, the Braum ult finally does connect. There is the Ezreal, but it still needs 2 more stocks. But now Braum taking those turret hits, a lot of damage, but no Braum passive ever being finally locked in. That Silver Karma movement speed able to disengage almost any fight.
Looks like everyone's going to be collapsing in the top lane. We'll see how this turns
Lamora
out.
will be found by Pluck and Penguin. Some huge damage coming out. There is the Gragas ult knocking him backwards, but Rogue One will finally pick up the kill with that axe. Scholar is now getting threatened by Argiscard. He still has that Rift Herald buff. Still doing a good amount of damage to him. And looks like that will be the back out. A 1-for-1.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to see that Talia did pick up that kill. Gragas goes down, but goes down to the 0-1 mid laner. Oh, actually, the mid laner didn't get that kill. It was the Olaf. So now Olaf's gold resets because he was 0-3 prior to this. He's going to be building full tank because he is so far behind. All of the damage on the side of Blue Esports is very far behind. And the tanks on the side of NCSU Prime are so far ahead, they can afford to build damage as opposed to completely prioritizing the tank items.
Yeah, very true. We do see that Runic echoes onto Gragas. And that Hydra onto Trundle, he will just be split pushing and be a huge threat. You know, this bot lane, they've been fighting a lot, but not too many kills have happened.
Yes, and if Sivir didn't have the assist that she has, she would actually be behind in gold by a very large amount. She is currently 500 gold behind just based on the farm disadvantage that she has, whereas every other lane is incredibly far behind. For instance, this Talia is almost 2k ahead of the Victor.
Yeah, very true. She has that Abyssal, she has that Morello's. Victor still hasn't completed a single item yet. Looks like he might be going for that Rylai's. But once again, bot lane, hogging up the directed camera with all that aggressive trading. Olaf just clearing some wards, securing that Scuttle Crab. Not too much happening. Dragon is still a minute 40 out, and there won't be any Baron until 20 minutes, so...
Yeah, Victor did upgrade his Hex Core early, got Hex Core Mark II, whereas Talia has the Morsel Anemicon and the Abyssal Scepter without upgraded boots. Therefore, Talia has a lot more engage, can negate a lot more of the Victor's damage, and just completely roam due to the Talia ult.
4 members from NCSU Prime gathering in the bot lane. Hani diving super deep with the tank. There is the Braum ult, won't fully connect. Victor finally in the bot lane, trying to do some damage, but now Scholar with the teleport behind. But the entire team of Blue Esports is so disjointed. And it looks like Trundle is in the backline, but Scholar is going to go ahead and fall. Pluck and Pang will barely live. Our Giscard from that previous overextension is now in trouble. He will fall. The Talia ult coming out, but will not be able to save him as they try to secure this turret, the second turret falling for NCSU Prime.
Yeah, minor miscommunication in Giscard. Giscard teleported to a ward that was in Tribush, behind all of the damage, but after NCSU had already backed up to deal with the Maokai. That was actually very beneficial because no matter what, if you're the team behind, you are looking to trade kills. It really doesn't do much to put more kills onto a team that's already ahead, other than continue to snowball that team. But since Talia got that, as opposed to the Sivir or the Trundle, she's at about the same damage potential that she otherwise would have been, and therefore it doesn't help as much as that kill onto NCSU's top laner does for Blue Esports.
Finally, Blue Esports doing something proactive, securing that mid lane turret that is the first turret of the game for against NCSU's 2 turrets taken. Dragon is live, so the Earth Dragon is there. Looks like they're getting some vision. Olaf will be though, so if they start this immediately, they will be able to take it. And everyone just looks like they're grouping up mid lane.
Yeah, the 3 mid lane allows for the Olaf to safely go B. They didn't have vision on the Olaf going B, or else I believe they would have gone immediately to that Earth Dragon. If they get this Earth Dragon, I believe that's a 20% increase, or 16%. It is 20% increase on epic monsters and towers that allows them to go directly from this Earth Dragon onto Baron, which is going to spawn in about 15 seconds, and that would be a tremendous force going against this Blue Esports that's already down.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how Blue Esports will try to take this back. Earlier you said they were the 2nd seed and they were in the favored matchup, but they seem to be playing this game very sloppy. Rogue One will be getting that blue trinket ward and running away back to safety, but he's actually going to be collapsed on because our Giscard is right behind him. Rogue One is between a rock and a hard place, and it looks like he will be throw that Q away, activate that Ragnarok, and try to run away. His ghost is not up yet. Scholar's going to try to slow them down, but here's the Talia ult separating him from his savior, and Rogue One is going to go ahead and fall, showing off that level 7 mastery emote.
That is incredibly unfortunate for Blue Esports that Rogue One went down. That means NCSU Prime is able to collapse on this top tower. They're possibly going to get it, and then immediately go on to Baron.
Overall is coming out, looking for an engage, but not getting one. They're going to secure this top turret. Ezreal Impala on the side of Blue Esports did secure that bot lane turret though, so a 1-for-1 turret trade. But Olaf did fall, so the win definitely went to NCSU Prime on that overall trade.
Exactly. And now, if you're Blue Esports, what are you looking to do in this scenario? every single person has come into a game where they are so far behind and they know they're far behind. What's beneficial for Blue Esports, though, is the fact that they do know they're far behind. When you think that you're even, you start forcing a lot of fights that you probably will lose, just because you are the one forcing those fights. They understand that NCSU wants to keep their lead. So, if they turtle, if they sit under tower, wait for them to engage on them, and turn it around, they can actually do a lot.
There is the Gragasol coming back, knocking out Rogue One. The Trundle Pillar slowing in, but Dadu going in way too deep was going to have to flash out, and that Trundle Pillar actually blocking the rest of the engage in. Ooh, it looks like a safe disengage, but it was looking very bad for Blue Esports momentarily.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate that they got caught in a 3v5 scenario.
Another engage coming in, all those spells going down. Scholar going in on Flamegen will flash, bringing him all the way into his team. Rogue One looking for the engage, is taking a lot of damage though, and a lot of back and forth fighting, neither team fully committing. A lot of ultimates are down though.
Now, NCSU actually is losing out in this poke war, with both Loch Lamora and Scholar having their teleports up, which means that if Blue Esports wants to, they could turn this into a lot of different objectives, knowing that NCSU has to go B. You see their priority, they're giving over the blue to Victor, they're taking a lot of the jungle, they're pushing the waves, they're keeping everything maintained, and that is exactly what they want to do if they want to get back into this game. Now, if NCSU goes B and starts pushing out, manicuring these waves, making sure that bot lane wave, which is huge right now, continues to push into that turret, they're able to then rotate mid lane, take control of the mid lane, get tier 1, rotate to Baron, take that, and then by that time, bot lane will have pushed into the tower. Now, it was pinged out for Blue Esports that the Olaf is probably going to take bot lane. They see where everyone is. They see this mid lane push, and they're going to have to deal with it, unfortunately. They did not do anything while NCSU went B.
Talia with the ultimate, securing the team, and a huge Gragasol coming out. Baller Dadu is way too far forward. Victor is trapped between the enemy team and an ice wall, and looks like that will be the disengage, but a nice Talia play coming out on the side of NCSU Prime.
Very well coordinated with the Talia knock-up right into the Gragasol. That threw Braum into the middle of the fight. That shield is now down, so therefore the Sivir Boomerang is going to be a lot more effective in clearing these wards. As if Braum was there, he could just stand in front of the entire minion wave, take that Boomerang, take the Bouncing Blade.
It looks like Victor taking huge damage. A full Talia combo will get sniped out by that Sivir Boomerang, and now Hani is the focus of Rogue One. He will back off. Plunket Penguin is going to go ahead and disengage himself. Evazel putting out a lot of damage and zooming in on the bot lane. Tanks just farming, trading back. It's a wet noodle fight.
Yes, that gold lead for NCSU has now increased to 6k gold. It looks like they're going to be taking advantage of that wave, pushing into the bot lane turret, maybe getting that, taking all of the jungle on the way out, starving Blue Esports from gold. The top lane, if we can see, has 2 waves pushing into it, so it's going to be pushing on the side of Blue Esports. Therefore, they're going to hopefully take that top lane tower to maybe get some gold back into their favor. They are so far behind, though, that they need to be careful. If somebody comes top lane, they're going to need to deal with that. However, that means that leaves at least 4 people from NCSU to deal with something else in any other lane. Right now, if we look at just flat towers, mid lane tower is at half health, bot lane tower is at 3/4 health. On the side of Blue Esports, though, they have bot lane tier 2 at full health, and they have mid lane tier 2 at pretty much full health. So the only thing that they could do is take this top tier 1 where NCSU is going to want to start setting up. So it's very unfortunate in terms of where everything is setting up right now.
Like the vision control coming out, NCSU Prime want to secure this Baron vision. It is the next objective they're looking for. They already have that 6k gold lead, so the best way to push into this game is pretty much just to get Baron.
Yes, and barring a miracle Ragnarok Flash smite coming in from Rogue One, I don't see NCSU losing Baron at all.
It doesn't look like it. Trundle just sieging this bot lane turret. That split push. Maokai holding him off fairly well though. Like that bot lane turret is half health though. But Maokai is just stuck here. There's nothing he can do. And oh, it looks like Rogue One taking some damage. There is the Victor lasers coming on out. Hani getting hit low, but not too much happening. These teams are really afraid. I think NCSU Prime really need to pull the trigger and start forcing this Baron.
Yes, they might actually be waiting for this dragon to spawn, which is the third Earth Dragon of the game. It would be their second Earth Dragon, which allows them to then have that true damage. Talia ult used, and it looks like there's going to be some action in the bot lane.
My client did DC, so go ahead and take over Zigua.
Alright, so it looks like Gragas ulti in, 4 men in the middle, the Maokai popped his ult, it looks like Gragas is going to go in, Olaf Ragnarok's out, Ezreal does take down the Trundle, but the Talia is able to knock in the Ezreal towards him. Gragas ends up getting that kill, they take the bot lane tier 2 turret, Talia is full health, Gragas is 3/4 health, so they're able to quickly turn this into a dragon in 15 seconds. That'll be their second Earth Dragon. As I mentioned earlier, that's going to be a ton of true damage onto any objectives. Now, since NCSU Prime is going to be looking to siege a lot of these towers and go for a very objective-based game, they're going to be receiving a huge advantage from that. Now, if Blue Esports wants to get in on this, they're going to want to start boarding up this Baron. They're going to try to set something up where Olaf can do that miracle Ragnarok flash ult into the Baron pit. If he's able to secure that, I can see Blue Esports being able to stall this game out long enough for the Victor, the Ezreal, and the Maokai to get tanky enough and damage built enough that they're going to be able to poke NCSU out. NCSU is not an inherently tanky team. They're deceptively so. With the Trundle going early damage item, the Gragas is the only one that is full tank right now, minus his jungle item. There are a lot of wards, which means Gragas is going to be looking for that pick. With everyone clearing things out though, it's very unfortunate for Blue Esports. What's going to happen in the next couple of minutes is they're going to clear out all the wards around Baron. Blue Esports is going to feel the pressure. They're going to feel how desperate everything is. They're going to have to engage blind into this Baron pit. Ezreal just used his ult top lane. He's not going to have that for a miracle steal. They're positioning around this, but it's a 4v5 with them just picking up the Baron. They're looking to re-engage onto this Blue Esports team. The Trundle pillar is out.
I'm back here, so the Silver Ball is coming in. Plug and Wayne completely missing the flash ult. Victor will be thrown into the team, and the client DC. Go ahead and take over, Zigua.
Okay, and the Maokai goes down. They're going to re-engage. This is currently a 5v3. The Olaf pops his ult. Karma has to back up. If Trundle is able to get this Olaf, or they're able to pick up any more members, I see this game ending right here, right now. They're taking out tier 2 mid lane. They're pushing onto the inhib turret. Right now we see Talia pushing on, hitting the Olaf, getting a lot of damage going in. Ezreal ease in, gets taken down almost immediately. Gragas body slams in. They're going to take this inhib. They're going to continue up the mid lane. They have Baron buff. It actually looks like Karma pops her ult in order to get everyone back. They're going to B, they're going to buy, and they're going to push down top lane probably because of how the minions are pushing for them rather than against them, as in the bot lane. Probably send one bot lane in order to deal with all that, get another tower top lane, get the inhib, end the game. It looks like Sivir is actually going to deal with that bot lane tower. They might end up doing a 2-1-2 with the Gragas in the mid lane farming jungle, trying to cure that wave so that the supers are pushing mid lane. This will make Blue Esports have to make a decision very early whether or not they want to save one tower or lose both. If they lose both, the game is over. If they are able to save one, possibly get a pick onto the Sivir or the Talia, then they have a shot. Right now, though, it looks as though Olaf is going to get caught out in the jungle. He has to pop Ragnarok. That is an incredibly important ult down. We have 3 in the bot lane, 1 in the top lane. The Maokai right now is so far behind, he's not able to deal with this Trundle. This Trundle is going to very slowly push into this turret. With the 3
he will
bot
end up getting damage on that turret. He doesn't have a Sunfire cape, so he doesn't have to worry about getting accidentally getting aggro. Victor is there. Looks like the Karma Mantra E is popped. They're slowly poking away at this turret. And there comes the Talia ult separating the team. Rogue One completely caught out. Does not have that Ragnarok from wasting it earlier. And Shadow Visions securing that kill onto Rogue One, and now they will be getting this bot lane turret, and the inhibitor is next as NCSU Prime are looking out to close this game, and Trundle is pressuring out that top turret, just getting the damage down. He's ignoring Maokai, who cares about his damage, while his team is trying to end this game. They're already on the Nexus turrets. Our Giscard completely just ignoring Maokai, farming. Maokai's given up. He's attacking the cannon minions, but now it looks like all 4 members are on the Nexus, and that will be a victory for NCSU Prime.
Very clean game coming out from NCSU Prime in Game 2. It shows the level 7 mastery with Talia. It shows the power of this bot lane. Despite going into a very lane that's against them, they were able to pull something out, pull together, and it shows how far this team has come in as little as 1 week.
Yeah, and beating the 2nd seed is no easy task, so congratulations to NCSU Prime going 2-0, and yep,